And of course, just to set it up a little bit, people know that Jason Kenney set up a petition on his own website to congratulate and encourage him to for a job well done. So you can go to Jason Kenney's website and sign up on a petition to congratulate Jason Kenney on being absolutely terrific. I've just never heard of a man doing that before.
And I believe that the petition is, he's the creator of the petition too, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here we go with, this is a little comedy bit that was done by somebody online here to kind of do a send-up of Jason Kenney here. Here we go.
Hi, this is Minister of Immigration Jason Kenney. Recently I started an online petition to offer support to the brave stand vis-a-vis refugees taken by me, Jason Kenney. It reads, "We, the undersigned, thank the Honorable Jason Kenney for his efforts to streamline the diminution of health care offered to refugee claimants. We also think that inserting the phrase smuggled migrants and bogus asylum seekers into this paragraph here won't at all be seen as an attempt to throw into question the motivations of people coming to Canada to escape persecution, if there is such a thing, in their native lands. And if we're asked to choose between the Canadian Medical Association, Canadian Nurses Association, and the medical professionals who work with refugee claimants, and the guy who used to run a lobby group for rich white people, on whether refugees really need insulin eyeglasses or wheelchairs, we know where we stand, and that is with the Honorable Jason Kenney. We, the undersigned, wonder how many of the individuals who made it to Canada on the Underground Railroad, for example, were actually escaping so-called slavery, and how many just wanted a free railroad ride. We also want to proudly stand up and be counted alongside Jason Kenney and praising Jason Kenney for bravely implying on Sun TV that there might be a plot by burqa-wearing new Canadians, all 9 of them, to overthrow our former government by means, though still vague.
A few weeks ago, one of my parliamentary colleagues, new MP Władysław Lizon, told me that he attended a citizenship ceremony in Mississauga where he saw 4 women, well, 4 people. I don't know if they were women or men, but four people standing up during the citizenship ceremony, taking the oath, wearing face coverings, wearing burqas and niqabs. And by the way, he later followed them out to the parking lot. Turns out they got into a car with New York State license plates on it.
Are nonetheless enough of a threat to cause Ezra Levant to make his really concerned face. We also support Jason Kenney in his efforts to eventually tweak Canada's immigration law so as to limit the designation of bona fide refugee to non-foreigners. Furthermore, in closing, we would like to nominate Jason Kenney for this year's Jason Kenney Award for Humanitarianism to be presented later this month by Jason Kenney. Your name here.
And that is M83 with Midnight City from the Hurry Up We're Dreaming album. How's it going, Mike?
Not too bad. I like that song.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to keep it pretty lighthearted and pretty chill tonight. No angry stuff. Because it's just too much. Sometimes.
Well, the conservatives do enough to anger us.
Yeah. I decided that at least for tonight, let's balance that off with some chill stuff.
That's cool.
Musically speaking, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit uplift.
So here's the reason why I think Jason Kenney wins the Idiocy Award in this week's show. Okay, so we know that there was a shooting in Toronto. I mean, everybody's read a little bit about it, I'm sure. Without getting into the actual shooting itself, I just thought that it was ironic that Jason Kenney, it's like he can't be left out. I see him like as some sort of puppy dog who just like runs back and forth at the window and barking crazy things.
Yeah, he needs some headlines, because keep in mind this is a star player in the Conservative cabinet. Jason Kenney has been in the past earmarked for important things. Now immigration is not necessarily the portfolio that you want to get stuck in if you're a conservative, right? Because you know what I mean. You're certainly going to be the object of a ton of ire. It's one step down from being the environment minister. I mean,
yeah, especially in the Harper government, right?
Yeah,
because,
these are two portfolios.
They have some work that he has to do that's going to get him dirty when it comes to their immigration legislation.
Yeah, so being immigration guy, I guess he's trying to grab headlines.
Yeah. So what he wrote on his Twitter account was, "I agree with Mayor Ford. Foreign gangsters should be deported without delay." And that was his response to, as we know, to the Mayor Ford of Toronto has come out and said that he wants to find a way to basically, if you commit a gun crime in Toronto, then he wants to exile you from Toronto after the fact. And we know that there's all sorts of problems when it comes up to the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, because right now you can't do that to somebody. If somebody commits a crime, they serve their time, and then they still live in Canada as a free country, and they can live wherever they want to live.
Yeah.
But here we have...
You pay the price and you go on. Yeah, it boils down to... the Conservatives like Rob Ford and Jason Kenney, they are actually doing a politically smart thing by playing to people's xenophobia.
Well, yeah, and the irony here is that none of the people involved in the shooting were immigrants, and they were, as far as I understand, all born in Canada. And I mean, I believe that the party took place in a Jamaican or Caribbean neighborhood, or a number of the people were of Caribbean descent, but to instantly see them as immigrants is kind of curious too. It just goes to show where some of these reform, they are the Reform Party, where they're coming from. Their old roots are still there. Anybody who's who might be of color or from Jamaica, those people are a concern. Because that's the first thing he notices about a person in a shooting. It's not just about the crime of a shooting. He has to add this whole element that isn't even true. It has nothing to do with immigration. It has nothing to do with foreign gangsters.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're the immigration minister and you got to try to grab the headline and you see something that involves people of color, I mean, is it really an obstacle for you if they don't happen to be immigrants? Because you know what I mean? Yeah. You got to take what you can get. Sometimes when you just got to make something out of nothing. Sometimes if you need a headline.
Well, they're good at doing that.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter. Most of the people, like the kind of the target constituency that they're looking to curry favor with, okay, just regards any identifiable minority as an immigrant anyway. You know what I mean? Like, go to the Calgary Stampede and tell them that a person who isn't white isn't an immigrant.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's a whole other level, though, isn't it? I mean, that just goes to show where the psychological basis of this. And it is true that most people, if you were to ask them like that, if they're of European descent, generally they're going to not believe that they're an immigrant. They see themselves as a Canadian. and they, like you say, they unfairly don't apply that to somebody who might not have British or Irish or French or whatever roots from Europe. And then because these people, I mean, that's the only thing you can point to, is that you know, they never use a racist term against them for being from the Caribbean, but at the same time it underlies their position. I just think that it's absolutely ridiculous what he tweeted.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, the politics of division, you know. I wish I could say without a doubt that what they're doing is a mistake. But their ignorance and their racism, their xenophobia is all gonna get them votes, and it's gonna drive a wedge between the progressive parties who are gonna split that anti-racist vote. You know what I mean?
In that sense, I guess you could say that the conservatives kind of tread an interesting line, because it is one of the areas that they seem to be growing their support in some places too, is with you know, varying immigrant communities, where they actually look for votes there, and at the same time they pander to this kind of lowest common denominator within their regular base constituents.
Yeah.
And
it's
yeah.
I know what you're talking about, and it could be the subject for a whole show sometime in the future, exactly how the conservatives walk that tightrope. You know, they pander, they go into those communities, and they look for support, but at the same time, anywhere outside of those communities, it's a whole different story.